When Florian Wirtz collapsed in pain back in March 2022, the headlines were already being written. Germany's next big hope gone before he could even reach his prime. A torn ACL at just 18 years old? For most players, that's the beginning of the end. But not for Wirtz. He came back to lead Bayer Leverkusen to their best ever season and is on the brink of being Liverpool's most expensive signing ever. So, how did a teenager go from stretchered off in silence to lifting trophies and breaking records? Before Florian Wirtz became Germany's next big thing, he was just a kid from a small district in Pulheim, kicking a ball around the garden. Born on May 3, 2003, Florian was raised in a football family. His father ran the local club, his sister Julianne played competitively, and the game wasn't just encouraged, it was expected. By 4, Florian had already joined SV Brauweiler, the same club where his dad coached. He wasn't the biggest kid on the pitch, but he saw things others didn't. Quick turns, tight control, passes that looked impossible. Everyone could see it. This kid was special. At just 7 years old, he was recruited by FC Cologne's youth academy. That's where he really started turning heads. By age 16, he was captaining their under-17 team and leading them to national titles. Coaches praised his vision, his intelligence, and how effortlessly he dictated play. Then came the move that shocked the region. In 2020, Bayer Leverkusen swooped in and signed Wirtz, sparking outrage from Cologne fans who had watched him grow up in their system. But controversy or not, Wirtz didn't flinch. That same year, he became Leverkusen's youngest ever debutant at just 17. Weeks later, he scored against Bayern Munich and made Bundesliga history. He wasn't just talented anymore, he was breaking records. But just when it looked like his rise was unstoppable, everything collapsed. For a rising star like Florian Wirtz, everything was going according to script. Until it wasn't. March 13, 2022, Leverkusen were playing Cologne in a regular Bundesliga fixture when disaster struck. One awkward movement, one planted foot, and suddenly, Wirtz was on the turf, clutching his knee. You could tell from his face it wasn't just a knock, it was serious. Minutes later, the worst was confirmed, a torn ACL in his left knee. For most players, that's bad, but for an 18-year-old who was on track to be Germany's breakout star at the World Cup, it was crushing. Wirtz had been flying that season, 7 goals and 10 assists before March. He wasn't just one of the best youngsters in Germany, he was one of the best midfielders in Europe, full stop. And just like that, everything paused. The rehab? Brutal. ACL tears don't just test your body, they test your mind. But Wirtz never disappeared. Behind closed doors, he worked. He rebuilt his strength, he pushed through every setback with the same quiet intensity he shows on the pitch. 10 months later, in January 2023, he returned. Subbed in against Gladbach, the world finally got to see what they'd missed. And just like that, Florian Wirtz was back. But the real shock? He didn't just come back, he came back better. You can't fake dominance, not over 51 games, not in 3 different competitions, not in the Bundesliga, where Bayern Munich usually walk through the league for a title. But in the 2023-2024 season, that crown was smashed to pieces, and Florian Wirtz was holding the hammer. Under Xabi Alonso, Leverkusen played with positional discipline and insane transition speed. But it only worked because of Wirtz. No one read the pitch faster. No one kept the ball in tighter spaces. No one delivered the final pass more consistently. At just 20 years old, he was already the conductor of a historic run. Let's break it down. They played 34 league matches, won 28, drew 6, lost 0. That's right, undefeated across an entire German top-flight season. But it's not just the numbers, it's who they did it against and how. Against Bayern Munich in February, Leverkusen crushed them 3-0. It wasn't just a win, it was a clinic. And Wirtz, he was untouchable, drifting between the lines, pulling Kimmich out of position, pinging inch-perfect passes to Frimpong and Grimaldo on the wings. Bayern were chasing shadows. That match shifted the league's power dynamic overnight. He wasn't just scoring or assisting, he was doing the hard things, recycling possession when the team was under pressure, recovering on defense, drawing tactical fouls. Things that don't show up in stat sheets but win championships. But matchday 29, Leverkusen had a chance to clinch the title at home against Werder Bremen, and Florian Wirtz decided that was the night to make history. In 45 minutes, he dismantled Bremen's backline. The first goal was a thunderbolt from outside the box, zero backlift, just pure instinct. The second, a clinical finish after a perfectly timed run. The third, a finish across the keeper. Hat trick, game over, 5-0 Bundesliga 1. Leverkusen had never won the league before, ever. They were the eternal runners-up, the team that always choked, but not with Wirtz. That win sealed a title with 5 games to spare, and his hat trick, the exclamation mark. You thought they'd slow down in the cup? Not a chance. Wirtz starred in every round. In the semifinal, he tore apart third-tier Saarbrücken's midfield with ease. 1 assist, 1 disallowed goal, and total control. Then came the final against Kaiserslautern. Easy opponent on paper, but it turned chaotic fast. Leverkusen went down to 10 men in the 44th minute. Instead of panicking, Wirtz dropped deeper, took control, dictated the rhythm like a metronome, slowed the tempo, forced fouls, took the sting out of the game. Then, like clockwork, his persistence led to Granit Xhaka's winning goal. Final whistle, 1-0. Domestic double secured. Then came Europe. This was the one tournament that got away, but not without Wirtz dragging Leverkusen all the way to the final. In the quarterfinal against West Ham, he was at his best. In the first leg, he sliced the Hammers apart with precision passing. In the second leg, tied at 1-1, it was his whipped corner that set up the decisive equalizer. Then came Roma in the semis, a rematch from the year before. Wirtz made sure history didn't repeat. In Rome, he scored the opener with a near-post rocket that stunned the crowd. In the second leg, with Roma pushing for a comeback, Wirtz delivered a no-look through ball that broke the lines and led to the late goal that booked their ticket to Dublin. But then came at Atlanta. The final didn't go to plan. Leverkusen lost 3-0. Their unbeaten run ended, but Wirtz was still the standout in defeat, creating 4 chances, drawing 5 fouls, and hitting the post once. He played like a leader in a team that finally ran out of gas. And by the numbers, 49 matches, 18 goals, 20 assists, Bundesliga champion, DFB Pokal champion, Europa League finalist, Bundesliga player of the season, Germany's footballer of the year, and he did it all at age 21. Let that sink in. Florian Wirtz went from promising youngster to world-class playmaker in the span of 10 months. And he didn't just play in a perfect season, he created it. By the time the 2024-2025 season kicked off, Florian Wirtz was the guy, the player everyone game planned against, but no one could stop. And from day one, he made it clear. This season was going to be historic. In the Bundesliga, Wirtz ran the show. Every attack, every transition, every moment of brilliance seemed to pass through him. He scored 10 goals and delivered 13 assists across 31 league appearances. Numbers that barely scratched the surface of his impact. But it wasn't just about stats, it was about presence. He played with the confidence of a veteran and the creativity of someone seeing the game in slow motion. But where he truly announced himself to the world was the Champions League. In his first ever match in Europe's biggest competition, away against Feyenoord, Wirtz didn't flinch. He dropped a first-half brace, leading Leverkusen to a stunning 4-0 victory and grabbing man-of-the-match honors on his debut. From there, he just kept climbing. 6 goals and 9 Champions League appearances. Clutch goals, momentum-shifting goals. Wirtz was no longer just a German gem. He was a European star. And yet, as if that wasn't enough, he was just as dominant in national colors. At Euro 2024, he became the youngest German ever to score at the tournament, striking just 10 minutes into their opener against Scotland. Germany dismantled them 5-1, and Wirtz's name was suddenly on every headline. Fast forward to the Nations League. Against Hungary, a goal and an assist. Against Bosnia, a free kick stunner and his first ever brace. And the semi-final clash with Portugal, he opened the scoring with a composed header, a moment that temporarily silenced the Portuguese fans before Germany eventually fell 2-1. It didn't matter, the message was clear. Clubber country, domestic or continental, Florian Wirtz had arrived. Florian Wirtz came back from a torn ACL and led Leverkusen to an unbeaten season and their first ever Bundesliga title. He's now one of Europe's most feared playmakers, and the story's not over. Liverpool are closing in on him, and a new chapter in the Premier League awaits. Do you think Wirtz will dominate in England?